If you're someone like me that comes from an academic background where we believe that studying and the more you study can equate to the results with it being a positive correlation, the more time and effort you put in and turns into the more better grades you get, the better results you'll get. You probably applied this same logic of thinking towards trading and have soon realized that it's actually gone against you. In this video, I want to talk about simplicity and how to keep your trading strategy and how you look at the markets as simple and as clean as possible with the least moving parts. With how much content there is outside in the trading space now, especially on YouTube, with the amount of free videos that people are putting out there, unfortunately it means that there's also a negative connotation to that as well. There are a lot of content creators out there who are making false content, making false promises, and therefore misguiding and misleading the innocent new trader down the wrong route. To be able to trade and stick with it in the long term and achieve longevity, you have to have some sort of passion for it. This passion will mean that you have a very strong interest for it, and it will be the reason as to why you come back to the charts even in times where you feel like giving up. This strong passion and interest, though, can turn against you, and unfortunately it was something that happened to me as well. When I first was getting back into trading during my second year of university, there was someone who I was living with in my shared house, or in a dorm you could say. He was a guy who was also into trading as well, and he was talking to me about the Nasdaq and what he thought on it. So when I went to go look at his charts on his computer, the amount of things I saw on his charts was, it looked pretty cool, if I'm being honest. I saw lines and weird bars, and it looked cool seeing all this data on your screen to try and predict where the market's going to move. This led me thinking that, I should probably learn these things as well, and maybe the more things I apply, the better my probability to try and gain a winning trade will be. However, now that I've gone into trading almost full time now, and I've dedicated a lot of time to this, to finding a mentor and learning from them, I've now realised that the more things you learn does not equate to the better results that you're looking to achieve. This strong passion and interest can lead you to wanting to learn new things, but where it gets dangerous is where you start applying all these things to your charts. The problem lies is where all these things don't come into agreement anymore. When you start adding loads and loads of different things to the chart, it's like having multiple people in the same room trying to agree on a certain topic. There's always going to be at least someone there, or one or two people there, who's going to have a clashing opinion with you. There's always going to be someone there who's going to have a disagreement or a different opinion on what you might think. And this is probably going to be the same in your trading as well. You're probably going to have an indicator or some sort of price action which both they suggest complete opposite things. One might suggest the market could go up, whereas the others could suggest that the market will go down. And where you decide to weigh your analysis on, it then becomes down to your own discretion, and that's very subjective. And we try to leave trading, well, everyone should know that we try to leave trading with as little human discretion as possible. So once you begin to realise that the more things on your charts doesn't equate to the higher chance or the higher monetary gain that you'll try and get from trading, you'll want to start self-analysing your own strategy and just reflecting on it and seeing if it's actually something that is a bit overwhelming, is a bit over the top. Because it can lead to things such as being indecisive and overthinking, and unfortunately this is still one of my struggles that I encounter with at the minute, and I've missed out on a lot of good trades because of it. Although being content with missing out on the move is good for your psychology, the fact that something as minor as your own analysis turning against you to not being able to reap the reward from a successful trade, it's not a good feeling that sits inside of you. So let's say you've learned how to trade from a source of knowledge, whether it be books or YouTube videos online. The best way to go about it is to learn one thing at a time. Take your time to learn it very deeply, inside out, and then test it. Go out and take a look in the markets, whether it works or not. Let it prove to yourself if it's actually something that works. And you want to do this slowly with each different thing that you decide to learn. From all these things that you decide to learn, you then want to filter out and see which one resonates with you the most and which one would essentially pop out to the chart as easily as it can towards you. Usually from there, you'll probably find that these certain handful of concepts that you just learned is what you want to stick with, and you want to form a trading strategy around this. So you know that you've formed a trading strategy with your rules and knowing when to try and identify high probability setups. At this stage, you want to be very careful with how much you decide to add now to your trading strategy, because unfortunately this is where I went wrong. I was learning a YouTube series online, and then the same mentor had a whole compendium of concepts that each work in their own respect, but sometimes together it can be a recipe for disaster. And that was where I went wrong. I decided to learn one thing, and my interest and my curiosity to want to learn more from this person led me to wanting to learn more things and different things, and then applying all these things together in the charts. But yeah, unfortunately I missed out on a lot of setups because of that, and it's now led me to becoming more indecisive and overthinking. You'll only begin to realise that once you start journaling, and it's only through your journal where you realise which things actually work together and which things don't work together. It's really important that you journal that, not just the winning trades but also the losing trades as well, because the losing trades will highlight to you what things don't work. Even if it's something that you really liked and it resonated with you a lot, if it doesn't work with your strategy, then you shouldn't hesitate to get rid of it, basically. So one of the things that I decided to do as a way of trying cleansing down my own strategy was I essentially made a tally of all the things that I know about my own trading. So I'm a ICT concepts trader, right? So and there's a lot of different things in ICT concepts which can blend well together, and there are a lot of things which don't blend well together, and I only found that out through my own journaling and my own experiences. So I found myself at one point trying to merge together all these different concepts together, and that's when I realized it was leading me to be overly cautious in taking a trade, which then induced me being fearful and not being able to know when to take a trade. If you haven't seen my video on overcoming your fear of entering a trade is quite good, and I'll recommend it. So I'll leave a pop out in the corner and in the link description below. So how do you actually go about simplifying your trading plan or strategy? So this is what I did. You essentially want to list out every single concept or thing that you know. From your journal as well, you want to list out everything that from every single journal entry, you want to list out everything that you found, or every concept that you used in that journal entry. And once you have the list of it, you want to basically just mark a tally next to it. So this is what I did. You've got all your concepts down here on the side, and then I basically marked out a tally of how often I actually used all those things. And what you'll soon realise is that some things which you might have found interesting at the very as you were learning, there might be things which you find only a couple times in your own trading, or it's rare to find in your trading. And things like that, it's okay to get rid of. So things which have a very small tally, you can just mark a cross next to it and just say that you want to get rid of it now. This is something that you don't want to be looking for anymore in your trading, as it doesn't serve any more real purpose to your trading strategy. It won't blend well with it. And then, of course, obviously the things that tally up the most, you want to keep those. The things that tally the most as well, those are probably the more essential things, and the things that work together well. And once you've done that, you'll probably find a list of all the concepts that actually do work well together, and that will be your trading strategy. The last thing that I want to say before I end the video is just be very wary of what you decide to add to your own analysis, whether it be indicators or price action, whatever. Be very careful with what you add, because little do you know that it could be that one thing which could ruin a potentially amazing trading plan for you. You never know. This one thing that you found interesting, the new shiny object syndrome, probably acted at some point in the past where you saw this concept and you thought, let me just add this to my own trading model. Little do you know, this could be the thing which actually ruins your win rate for your trading strategy. So again, I say it again, be very careful with what you add to your trading model. Another quick tip which I'll give as well is for people who tend to overthink and are very indecisive about their trading. One thing I like to do is to, at the end of the trading day, once the trading day is finished, whether it be a win or lose or no trade at all, I like to wipe off all the annotations off my charts. Because let's say you come into the next day with a fresh mind and you see all this old analysis. How would you know that this analysis is actually going to be correct or not? How would you know that it's going to be, if it's actually going to aid you in finding your trading setup to be a win? The short answer is you don't. And I think being able to just wipe off your annotations and analysis of the charts will help you to just come to the charts with a blank canvas, with a fresh mind, essentially. And it will also test your ability, or being able to retain the knowledge that you've learned, and it will test your retention and not being able to marry a certain trade idea. Because let's say you had analysis on your charts from the day before and it was a loser. If you come to the charts again the next day, seeing that analysis again, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're already putting your analysis in a low probability, and therefore lowering the whole probability of your chances of having a good trade. So it's just about observing yourself and self-analyzing and seeing what things actually will help me, where I'll actually gain something from it, and what things are actually a potential threat. But yeah, that was everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you for watching.